What's up, guys? So I've been getting this question a lot. What phone am I using still in 2022 as my daily driver? Now, I do switch between a lot of phones constantly, but this is the phone that I've always had on me, always. Now, it used to be the 7 Pro and the, well, not the 12, but the 13 mini, which I'm not using the 13 mini as much, so I actually think I might end up selling it. I've actually been using the Note 10 a lot, and I've really enjoyed the experience with this phone, mostly just having the stylus here. And this phone has impressed me so much since I got it that I've honestly been thinking about really upgrading to the S22 Ultra, because it's going to be very similar to the Note 10 as far as the build quality goes. Just having these really sharp corners. So I've been, really anticipating that phone, and I think that, might very well be the move for me, because I've just enjoyed the phone so much. But as far as the 7 Pro, the phone is not old at all. OnePlus is making a couple of awkward decisions as far as the software goes. We have no clue if ColorOS is coming, and that's gonna permanently replace Oxygen OS as far as being in the United States. We do know that is apparent over there in China, but we'll just have to see. Oxygen OS is definitely one of my favorite things about the 7 Pro. It's very smooth, even for such an older phone with a Snapdragon 855 chip. This phone still performs just like when I got it. Now, granted that the Android 11 update was kind of shaky on this phone. I highly recommend upgrading to the latest patches and stuff like that. But yeah, but I expect that with any software, sometimes you get a bad release, so it's not anything that I cry about. But as far as the 7 Pro performance wise, it's still blazing fast, guys. You guys have seen me compare this phone to a ton of phones, a ton of newer flagship phones, and it's always able to keep up speed wise. And with the 90 Hz display, it still feels super fast as well too, which is something that I like. But one thing that this phone has over just a ton of other phones is that this phone simply still has that 1440p high PPI, beautiful display, uninterrupted, so no notch, no punch hole. I'm a big fan of curves on phones as far as the screen goes, and it just gives it that premium feel to me. Personally, I know a lot of people hate them because they get accidental touches, but it's not something that I've experienced myself. But yeah, so the screen on here is definitely what's keeping me on this phone. It's just I've just used this phone, and I never feel like I have to. I never felt like I needed to upgrade to another phone. And you guys have seen, I've had, I got the 13 Pro, and I try to get the latest phones. You guys know I mostly like used phones or older phones. But yeah, this phone has just done a phenomenal job here. But like I said, the software is the big concern for me on this phone. Are they switching? I'm not a fan of ColorOS. Like I said, I'll try it. I haven't tried too many Apple phones, but if you guys want to know more about that, maybe I'll make a video. But they're doing a whole big integration thing now. One thing that I've noticed having this phone is that I am starting to get a little bit of a screen burn. Now, that's what happens when you use a phone for so long. But it's not a bad screen burn. Because I can barely tell. So basically, I've had this wallpaper is kind of burnt into the screen. If you pull up a dark, looks like a white background, then you'll kind of be able to see it, but that typically happens on these type of displays. And I think I have the icons up here kind of have I can kind of see those on a white background too. Just a little bit. I honestly didn't notice it, but I had to one day look up really close to see it. But just on a normal background, you can't really see it at all. But yeah, battery life on here is fairly good. I've noticed a little bit of decrease in battery life, but like I said, when I first got this phone, the 30-watt charging is fast enough for anybody. So as long as you have the 30-watt charger, you plug it in, I mean, this thing is charged up in no time. Like 30 minutes is you know, you can use it. You can just go out the house and use it from almost dead. So I've never had an issue with battery life, and even if the battery life did drain on this phone, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, I don't really care because it charges so fast. My one thing that I kind of miss using other phones is that this phone does not have any type of wireless charging. It's always very convenient to just put your phone down. Like if I'm at the desk, I just want to put the phone down and it starts charging. So that's one thing that kind of sucks. Also, I kind of wish I had a little bit more storage on here, but that's not this phone's fault. I, for some reason, got the 128 gig, and I honestly might get a 256 gig version of this phone. If the S22 Ultra really does not impress me, which it better impress me for, I think the rumor now is like the phone like $1,200, $1,300 or something like that. It's absolutely insanity. But you know, I'm gonna buy it anyway. But yeah, so and oh yeah, and about that, see, I can make a whole rant video about that. S22 Ultra, from what I'm hearing, is 128 gigs on the base model. That's a whole rant by itself. But yeah, so as far as the OnePlus 7 Pro, the cameras on here are still pretty decent. Like, hold on, they're decent considering the price that this phone is at now. I just like, I'm trying to show you, find some recent pictures, appropriate pictures. I don't know, like you know, I'm trying to do TikToks with my cat. But like the video, I wish was, you know, it's just, I can tell the cameras are starting to age just a little bit compared to like the iPhone 13s and stuff like that. And you know, but stills on here are still pretty good. You can see like the you know, selfies are just like, they're okay. Like the images on this phone are okay. It's not like super crazy or anything like that. So that's one thing. Like, you kind of have to have like, I don't know, another phone if you're carrying this phone around. Or the issue is that Gcam doesn't work on this phone anymore, so that's a problem. It's just super glitchy and just doesn't work anymore. So yeah, so the 7 Pro is still an excellent device. I don't have a problem using this phone, and I probably will keep using it if I'm not impressed by anything. And I'll just go ahead and ride it out until this thing stops working, honestly. You know, I've been thinking about the 13 Pro. That's a very impressive phone. I really like that phone. If I can get over the notch, and I might try to switch my SIM to that, use it for a little bit, see how I feel about, you know, maining iOS. So again, I haven't mained iOS since iPhone 6s or something like that. But yeah, so the 7 Pro is still going strong. I'm really anticipating this Android 12 update. Just as interested to see what they're gonna do as far as the software goes. But gaming is still great on this phone. It still plays games fine. Speaker is still great. It's still a great phone for the price. So yeah, so be sure to let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.